All right, guys. So we have just completed day 2 of the Wealthy Trustee Workshop. So today we went over setting up our private family trust so that you guys can actually, start to operate the trust efficiently and effectively. So we went through the whole contents of the trust. So now you have a better understanding of what's inside of the trust. Okay. We want you to operate your trust the right way. So with that being said, what I want to do is I want to open up the floor for Q&A so that I can answer any questions that you might have based off of the information that I went over today. So pertaining to the family trust, okay? So the first hand that I see is Miss Monet.
Hey, great day to you. How are you?
Ray, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Once again, you brought it, so thank you for that. I didn't get a chance to comment in the beginning when you asked, so yes. Um, Always learning how to not only create it, but also how to function within it. So you are doing a fantastic job, Miss. You are.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate that so much.
Um, So the first question I have is with the TCUs, are we producing actual physical certificates for the beneficiaries to hold?
You can.
You can.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's optional. So you can either leave that documentation inside of the trust the way that it already is. If you want to issue certificates, you can. It's optional.
And if we wanted to, what do? We print it out on our own?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, you can create your own certificate. Like you know how so it's just something custom that you'll make on your own. So just like how in school they give you a certificate, it's just like that.
Okay. Um, with the whole life policy, when you structure it, is the family trust the owner and the beneficiary of the policy?
That's correct.
Perfect. Okay. So now my next question is, with any personal bank accounts we currently have that we put in the trust, do we make the trust the authorized of representative of those accounts?
So if you have personal bank accounts in your personal name, you will make the trust the beneficiary of those personal bank accounts.
The beneficiary. Okay. And then the last question that I have is I wanted to ask you yesterday when it comes to the business trust. Okay. So the business trust has a bank account, the LLC has a bank account. Which account do we use to transfer funds into the family trust account?
Excuse me, the business trust account because the family trust is the beneficiary of the business trust.
Okay, so if we're making money in the business, we will move it from the LLC account to the trust account and then move it from the trust account to the family trust account.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Renee. Thank you. All right. Next we have Lady Harley. Hi, Miss Lisa. Miss Lisa, you're
Hi, yep, I have to unmute.
okay.
It's a
I know
different.
I'm quick with it. I'm like, I don't hear you.
I know. Yeah, you are. You're quick, period. But man, hats off to you again.
Thank you.
You are like the best. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting these. She's talking to me in the chat here. Your Ivory, whatever.
Ivy. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm having a hell of a time. Getting the word thing,
Uh-huh.
Even the lady at the bank even tried to do it. And I'm like, yeah, and she knows what it is, like the word thing. And I'm like, I'm not familiar with it. I don't have a computer, but um, my lady does upstairs has a laptop. So I'm trying to get them off there. So uh,
Okay.
yeah, I'm getting there. But she said if I have trouble, I'll text her back. But it was funny. I'm not talking. I'm like, oh, she's calling me. I got to stop texting her. Um, Okay, my first question. Um, where does my son's special needs? What trust would that fall under? Will I put
So
that in the family trust?
Yes, you're going to put it inside of the family trust and you're going to add additional provisions that are special need provisions.
Okay.
So we have them. It's not inside of the program. We have them. So
Okay.
you just have to send us an email and we will respond with the provisions that you want to put inside of your family trust.
Okay, because like I said, he's on his own, he has his own bank account, I cut the strings, you know what I mean? I didn't even think he was gonna leave, but he's in the housing and stuff like that. But still, he still needs special needs.
Yeah, put those provisions in there.
Okay, definitely. All right.
Yeah.
Now with the grantor and the trustee. Now, I told you I don't have too many people to be doing different grantor and trust. Now, if the grantor is for the one trust, can she be for the other two, or
Yes, you could have the same grantor.
okay, or can we switch it up, saying like, because she is a trustee, she's my trustee, I'm her trustee.
Yeah, you can. That's a good option.
Okay, yeah,
Yep,
all righty,
great option.
cool. Thank you again. You're a
You're
sweetheart. And
welcome.
then take my hand up, and I got a quote here. Should I just give it to you now?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. The more we do for others, the more we do for ourselves. That was yesterday because I missed yesterday. I'm sorry. Oh,
Wow.
it took longer in the hospital than usual. Okay. To love and to be loved is to feel the sun from both sides.
Wow. That is beautiful. Thank you, Miss
Yeah,
Lisa.
welcome. You're a doll. You keep up doing what you do best.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being a valued part of this community.
I appreciate you more. You have no idea.
You're welcome.
Thank you, doll. I'm
You're
in now.
welcome. All right. Next we have Miss Reba. Hey, Miss Reba, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. How are you?
I'm great. How about you? You're looking
Fantastic.
great.
Thank you. Fantastic today.
Yes, my question is, okay, so we can use the same grantor for all three. We can use the same address for all three trusts also.
So I recommend that you have three separate addresses
Okay.
or at least a minimum of two. It just depends on how you're operating them, right? So for
Okay.
example, if your business trust is the authorized member of your LLCs or an officer in your corporation, then you're pulling that business trust, right? Not necessarily into the public, but it's going to be visible on the Secretary.
Yes, yes, I got you.
So you want that to have a separate address from your family trust
Right, correct.
in
I
your
see that
508.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, my other question, does the grantor can the grantor get the EIN for the family trust?
Yeah, the grantor is the responsible party for all of the EINs. So tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, I'm going to show you the steps you need to take in order to apply for the EINs. So you can only apply for one EIN per day per responsible party. That's why it's going to take us 3 days to get all three EINs. But yes,
Okay.
that's their responsibility. So they have two responsibilities. One is to sign the trust with you so that the trust is executed. And then the second one is to obtain the EIN for the trust.
So, how do you get the EIN without putting your name
So,
when
so if you're filling out the trust online, you
Mhm.
have to put the grantor's name and the trustee's name. So
Okay.
so what is the question? Because like it's just required. Now, what I will tell you is that an EIN is not required. So if you don't want to get an EIN, you don't have to, but I will tell you that it's very challenging to get a trust fund account without an EIN. So
No,
that's
I just didn't want my name when applying for the EIN. Does the resident, if a resident agent do it, do they use your name when they do it?
they ask for the trustee's name.
Okay. Okay, my last question. The TCUs, can they be administered to children under 18?
Can the TCUs be what?
Administered to children under 18.
Yes, beneficiaries, yes. So as long as the person is born, they could be born today and you can
Okay.
TCUs today.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Miss Reba. All
You're
right. Next we have Herbert. Hey, Herbert, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All
Can you hear
right,
me?
fantastic. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I had like 3 questions.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Do you recommend putting your trust where your businesses? If I have 2 out-of-state businesses, and do you recommend putting your trust in those out-of-state business? I
I
mean,
mean,
out of state.
yeah, so if you want to, so if you want to be consistent, I see a lot of entrepreneurs do it that way to where they have their businesses in Delaware or Wyoming and they choose those states because they've already have an established um dealings with those states.
Okay. And yeah, I am in Wyoming for my trucking company, and Delaware for a holding company. But when I put the businesses under the trust, um, the vehicles, um, my holding company owns the vehicles, and I rent the trucks to my trucking company. Do I have to put the titles under the trust, or can I keep them in the businesses? Because sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, so what I was gonna say with that is, so you can do it either way. Um, you can do it to where the assets are still held by the business, by the LLC, and then the LLC is just owned by the holding company, which is the trust. You can do it that way. But the only risk that you have is that the business is still liable. So like the LLC is still liable for those vehicles and assets. And then those vehicle and assets are going to end up in probate because they are not inside of a trust. So the other way that you can do it is that you can have the business trust hold the vehicles and whatever other assets and also own the LLC. So you can do it that way too, or you can have 2 business trusts, one to hold the assets and one to own the LLCs. But you said you have a trucking company, right?
Yes.
It's a high liability.
Okay.
You're in a high liability industry.
Yes.
So you need multiple business trusts, one strictly for the LLC, and that LLC has to be the only asset inside of that business trust. There can't be nothing else. And you don't want to hold cash inside of that business trust either. And then you'll have a separate business trust that's going to hold any equipment, any of those trucks or those vehicles.
Okay. To give 'em a little more, my holding company owns my trucking company. So then, do I put my holding company under the trust
Yes.
and then make a whole nother separate business trust for the trucking company?
It doesn't necessarily have to be for the trucking company. It could just be for the assets that you use for the trucking company.
Okay. Okay. And then the last one is on the iPostal address. I have them for my businesses, but they show the suite and then they show another number behind it, and it just doesn't seem like a regular address. And I don't know if my banks are looking at that as odd because it says my suite number, then it gives me a number like 555 after the suite number.
Some
Is that
banks, it depends on the financial institution. So some banks, they do look at that, and some don't. Some don't mind.
okay?
Yeah, some don't mind, and some do.
Okay.
So it depends on your bank.
And you recommended Ally yesterday. Ally Bank.
I really like Ally. I really like Truist. So my trust account is with Truist, and Ally, and Fidelity. So I have those three financial institutions. And those are the ones that I recommend. There are other banks too that I recommend, that a lot of our community members are with. But I would tell you to stay away from the bigger banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America, because those banks will ask you for your trust documents. Ally and Truist and Fidelity, they do not. And other credit unions as well. So other credit unions, other banks, they don't ask you for your trust docs, but the three big ones, they do.
Thank you. Thank you for all your help. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So on Thursday, we're going to be discussing banks. We're going to be discussing funding. We're going to be discussing operation and procedures for banking. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Next, we have Charles. Hey, Charles.
Hello, how are everybody? How y'all doing?
Good. Great. Wonderful. How are
Okay.
you?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for everything that you will do as always. I got a couple of questions.
You're welcome.
All right, so my question is, can my business partner or an employee be the grantor of any of the trusts?
Your business partner. So
Yeah.
so whoever is your grantor, you cannot be subservient or subordinate to them. So like
Okay.
you cannot be their employee.
Okay, yeah. All right, okay. So if I got a business with somebody, can they be the grantor, but they don't supposed to have any dealings with it? I can't hire the business to do certain work because the business partner is a grantor?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're doing business with that person, most likely they can't be the grantor.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes, sir.
Uh, Another one is, so when it comes to beneficiaries, if I do a 100-year trust, a family trust, and 100 years I'm going for now, so most likely the trustees should be my kids or their kids that's running it. So now the beneficiaries should be the great grandkids.
Yes, so right now, so right now your kids are the beneficiaries, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so your children are going to appoint their heirs as their successor holders so that once they become trustees, they're no longer beneficiaries and their successor holders are now becoming beneficiaries.
So trustee can't be a beneficiary still, right?
That is correct. They just cannot be the only beneficiary. So it just can't be you where you have 100 units.
Okay, so when you get more beneficiaries, the TCU starts to, let's say I have in 100 years, there's 100 grandkids. Each one of them get one TCU?
That's yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but the TCUs are transferable. So for example, if I'm your beneficiary, but in 20 years I'm going to be the trustee, then I'm no longer going to be the beneficiary. I'm going to be the trustee, and then my two daughters are going to be the beneficiary, so they're going to receive my units.
Okay, got that. Kind of get that. And I think that is it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you,
All right.
Charles.
All right, see you tomorrow.
All right. See you tomorrow. All right. Next we have Sandra. Hey, Miss Sandra, how are you? Hey, Miss Sandra, are you available? You're still on mute. Miss Sandra, we can't hear you.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
Great. Thanks so much for another amazing session today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, so my question is a follow-up to what the previous gentleman just asked. So I just want to confirm
Yes,
that
ma'am.
my children right now, who are my beneficiaries can be trustees.
So are you saying that they're going to be trustees right now, or you're saying they're going to be trustees in the future?
I mean, right now I need the co-trustees. I guess I am the trustee, but I would like to add more to that team of leadership discussions and everything. So can I add my two children to be my fellow trustees on the board? That's it.
How old are your children?
They're adults.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So there has to be other beneficiaries that are not appointed as trustees. So you might have to just do one of the two.
So then on the board, it will be me and one of the children, and then on the beneficiaries, it will be that same child who is also a trustee also appears on the beneficiaries, and then the second child will also appear.
Yeah, who's just solely a beneficiary.
Okay, so you have to have some beneficiaries. Bottom line is zero is not acceptable, and you have to have at least another trustee apart from me.
So there's only one trustee that's required. So you have to have at least
Great.
one trustee. You don't have to have two or three or multiple. So that is your discretion to make if you want to have multiple trustees. But
Okay.
you as a trustee is just fine.
Okay. And on the board of directors, do they have to be trustees to be on the board of directors, or can they just be board of directors? Because I was just thinking about having a board of directors meeting in Tahiti, and if I go there, I can just go there by myself and have the meeting there, or
Yeah,
can
you
my
can
children be on the board?
yeah, so you can have a Zoom meeting there. Um, Now the beneficiaries cannot be board members, so they cannot be secretaries and treasurers. They cannot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's something else to keep in mind.
So you can just hire some people, I guess, or even just hire some board of advisors who are not part of the family trust to.
So Miss Sandra, once again, we have helped you with that. So we have a volunteer list. So if you need assistance with people serving on your board, our community members have volunteered to assist, okay?
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I heard
So
about
those
it.
positions are available on the volunteer list as well.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I haven't seen the list. I thought it was just grantors. Thank you so much for that.
You're
And
welcome.
I think the last question I have is for the Schedule D, where you were stating that there's a house address, Main Street, and it's 50-50, or it belongs to this child. How does that correlate to the TCUs?
That's a really good question. So basically, the TCUs represent the beneficial interest, and so the people are entitled to receive, what is equivalent to the beneficial interest. So, for example, let's just say that there is, $1 million in cash inside of the trust fund, and there is a property that's worth $1 million. And so the only asset that's in there is the property. And so you're saying, hey, the property is going to one beneficiary, right? So if that is sufficient, then that one property is going to go to that beneficiary, and whatever is equivalent to the other beneficiaries' TCUs, they'll receive it in another form that's not, real estate. So they'll receive it in cash. So they
Okay,
just have to receive whatever is equivalent to how many TCUs they have.
okay. So
And
the
so
TCU.
one other thing is that memorandum of personal property is discretionary. So if it's not in alignment, because we're not sure what's going to happen 100 years into the future. So ultimately, even though you say, hey, I wish for the disposal of the assets to go this way, if it can't go that way, then because of the correlation of the TCUs, then there's gonna have to be some alternative measures, okay? So it is discretionary. All sections of the trust is discretionary because things change, situations change, assets change.
And valuations change too. Okay.
Yes, yep.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. That's all I had.
Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you, Miss Sandra, appreciate you. All right, next we have Monet.
Hey, one last question I forgot to ask. So let's just say you don't have an LLC yet, so you're not creating the business. I mean, the business trust is not ready to deal with the family trust. You only have the family trust. If the trust is when it comes to the policy, if the trust is the owner and beneficiary, how do you pay for the premium if you don't have the business and business trust yet?
So you have to lend the money to the trust. So I'll show you that on Thursday. So remember, the trust is starting from ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
So you as a principal in the trust, you have to lend money to the trust, or you have to go to the extent of getting loans from like financial institutions. So on Thursday, we're gonna spend the entire workshop day talking about that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next we have Mandy. Hey, Mandy.
Hi, sorry, it took me a second. Sorry.
Not a
Um,
problem. How are
okay.
you?
Great, thank you. I'll hurry up and be quick about this. I just needed some clarity around a couple of things. So when it says inside the trust documents, your state, that that means your trust domicile state that you choose. Is that correct?
Yes, the state that
Okay.
you choose.
Okay, because when I see, oh, your state, my mind is going, wait, the state I'm in. So, okay, I just needed clarity around that. Okay. And then I had a question about, so if, like, let's say, and hopefully this doesn't happen, if we do have to go to court to remove a trustee, this is probably a more advanced question, but just for my knowing, does that expose or put the trust at risk for exposure of like being pierced and all that? Like, if we need to move a trustee and they don't want to be removed, but we have to go to court to do that?
Okay, so you have the power to remove the trustee without going to court.
Okay.
The only issue when it comes to having to pull the trust into court unnecessarily is if the beneficiaries want to remove you for gross negligence. So
Okay.
so at the end of the day, yeah, you don't want to unnecessarily have to pull the trust into court.
Okay, because then that would just open up a whole can of worms of
Yeah,
them
so
asking for
so
documents.
so just because you go to court doesn't mean that your trust is going to be pierced. So you'll go to court, you'll represent the trust, or you'll have an attorney represent the trust in court, but you won't have to disclose the trust documents.
Okay.
So you're just going to have to interpret the trust, and you're going to have to communicate that inside of the court. But it doesn't mean that they're going to pierce through your trust and force you to produce the trust in court.
Awesome. Okay, that's reassuring. Thank you. And then there's a question I had according to Article 13, Section 4 is around page 12, when it was talking about regarding like the assets upon expiration of the trust can be distributed to the beneficiaries. But what if we don't, like, I never want to personally like distribute any of the trust assets to my children so that they're liable for anything. I want them to have user rights, but I want the assets to always stay in the trusts always. So nobody can, essentially take away any assets from the trust. Is that something that is able to be done? Even if you don't teach that here now, but is that something that is possible to do?
So in a perfect world, right? In a perfect world, but you have to understand that if the trust is terminated
Mm-hmm.
or if the trust is expired, it doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much dead, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a dead entity can't own an asset. So
Right. Mm-hmm.
you would be forced. So ideally, what you want is to always renew the trust. So one, you don't want to You don't want to terminate the trust right
Mhm.
before the original expiration date, and you want to renew the trust before the expiration date. So that is going to put your organization in the position to where the assets are always going to be held in the trust. So whoever the trustee is, whoever your successor is, they have to maintain that integrity to not dismantle the trust. Because once the trust is, dissolved, unfortunately, there is no way around it, and
Mhm.
it's non-operational, and those assets have to be distributed.
Right, yes. Okay, that totally makes a lot of sense. So as long as we're renewing it, we're safe and good to go.
Correct.
Okay, perfect.
Correct.
And then I had a question for Article 14, Section 6. How does this work with regards to the names? Because I was married and now I'm divorced, and I want, the assets to go directly to the bloodline of my mother's side and not my children's fathers, or their side. So how does that work? Do I put like my grandfather? Do I put my maiden name? I'm unsure which family name to put there.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you would definitely put your maiden name, or you said you wanted to go to your mother's side, right? So
Yeah.
you
Yes.
would list her as the ancestor. You can list you and her as the ancestor.
Okay, so then that means anybody from the blood. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what okay. And then just real quickly, I think you were going to go over this. So with regards to the EINs, you said we need to have those addresses ready to go, but it's the grantor who needs to get the EINs, correct?
Yes, so either you are going to obtain their personal information. So the only thing that's needed on the application is their legal name and social security number or tax identification number. So you are either going to receive it from them, or you are going to give them the instructions on how to apply for the EIN. So you can either, sit through the class and learn it, and
Mhm.
then, after the class, you go and do it with them, or you provide them with, the recording or the clip so that they can do it themselves. Another thing you can do is, if you want to invite them so that they can see the process, you can invite them Thursday or Friday so that they can see what that process initially looks like, because that's the first thing that we're going to do Thursday and Friday.
Okay, perfect. And just with regards to that, and this is my last question, is because I was wondering, we need the addresses, which we're going to get through iPostal. So their names don't have to be on that address. I can purchase all the iPostal addresses and then just give them that address to go with the EIN, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. I just thank you so much. All my questions answered, so much clarity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Randy. Awesome. All right, next we have Miss Reba. Hey, Miss Reba.
Hi, I forgot to ask on the TCUs, do you have to, like when I initially set this up, do I have to show distribution of all 100? Or like, let's say I'm expecting a grandchild next year. So could I just say, okay, I'm going to hold 50, I'm going to give my son 25, my granddaughter 25?
So
Or,
you do not have to distribute all 100, so you can hold TCUs in the trust. So the
okay,
trust will hold, 50, and then you'll distribute 50.
okay, great. Great, thank you.
You're welcome. So next we have Rudy. Hey, Rudy.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
I'll try to go quick. I've heard in the past, we don't need an LLC to run the business trust, right?
Facts.
That's true?
That's true.
Yes? Okay, because I don't want to deal with an LLC.
Right.
Okay,
Who wants to deal with a statutory entity? I mean, they have their perks, but I agree.
okay. Birth certificate can be put in the family trust, right?
Yeah, so if you consider it as an asset, then yes.
Or if not, where would it go? Like, right? I mean, I'm asking her, if not, can it go somewhere in another trust or?
No, it would go into the family trust.
Okay, all right. And then we would only take the certificate of trust last pages, right? Or that to the bank? That's what we're going to take to
Yeah,
the bank?
those pages. So those 3 pages.
Okay, and then the best way to set up with a spouse, since a beneficiary cannot be part of the board, and I would like her, like I don't want anybody else per se, can she, would I make her part of the board as the successor, or do I make her a beneficiary, or what do you think is the best setup?
So generally people would, for spouses, they will make their spouse the co-trustee because then that person is automatically a part of the board.
Oh, okay. Then I need to go back and put her in there. Okay. And then I guess this one, but this might be kind of long, but for beneficiaries not to pay taxes, and if I was giving them money, would they have to make their own trust to try to do the same? Like
That's a really, really, really good question. So the ideal scenario is for your beneficiaries to have their own trust and for their trust to be the beneficiary of your family trust. So yeah, that's the ideal scenario. So it might not happen today, but eventually down the line, you can structure it that way.
so their trust would be the,
The
say that,
beneficiary of your trust.
the family trust back into it? Oh, wow. Okay. I have some other ones, but I'll let, I know it's almost, okay. Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Rudy.
All right.
All right, next we have Betty. Hey, Miss Betty, how are you?
Hey, Christina.
Hey,
Great
hey.
job as
Thank
usual.
you.
I have a question. Okay, if my trust is set up in Wyoming or Delaware, would that make it difficult for me to have paperwork notarized or my bank account set up in North Carolina?
That is a really good question. So the domicile of the trust is the trust that you're setting it up, but it doesn't have to be notarized in the domicile. So that's why in the notarization section, you specify what state and county that is being notarized in. So
Right.
those could be two separate states.
Awesome.
And then
Awesome.
as far as your bank account, it depends on the banking institution. Some banks do want individuals or entities that are local. And so if you use an address that's not local, they might consider it as, as an entity that's not local. So it depends on the bank, to be honest with you.
Okay, so my bank that I currently use is State Employee, which I know I shouldn't use that now. But I also have an account with Choice.
Yeah,
And
Truist is great. Yeah.
you think
So
of here in North Carolina,
well,
you
me,
know,
no. I'm not in North Carolina.
no, I know you're not in North Carolina,
Oh,
but
oh,
sometimes, the smaller counties, um, they don't have the same mindset.
right. Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if I need to open up one somewhere else at another bank or
So you
just
can let them know, you can let them know that even though the trust is domiciled in another state, you are the trustee and you're the one that's conducting trust business here in this state. And they will ask you for the trustee's name and address. So
okay.
there is a potential for you to get around that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Any other last questions, comments, concerns? I'm just going to quickly check the chat here. So Deborah asks, can an already existing LLC be the grantor? Yes. Just keep in mind that your grantor is going to still have irrevocability. So that means that that LLC is still going to have irrevocability. So let's see if we have any other questions. So someone asked about the recordings. So the recordings are available. So I'll have the team double check to make sure that it's visible. So we have the recording from yesterday that is available inside of the portal and the one from today. So when you log into the online portal, you're going to see two sections. One is going to say Wealthy Trustee Program, which is the course. And then the other one is going to say workshop training recordings. So when you click on workshop training recordings, you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. When you go all the way down to the bottom, that's where you'll see the latest workshop recordings. So that's where you're going to have access to yesterday and today's recordings. So I'll have the team double check just to make sure that it is visible after we upload it. And see if I have any other questions.
I have one more, Christina. It's Mandy.
Okay, 1 second. Yesterday. Okay, good. Okay, awesome. Okay, I see Rudy and Mandy. So Rudy has a question and then Mandy, and then we will adjourn for today, everyone.
Okay, really quick. You sent like a bunch of things that like Telegram, and I saw insurance, and so I've been clicking on all of them. Is the insurance like for a personal insurance that we can put into the
Yeah, for like whole life, index universal life. So yeah, it's for the insurance so that you can start to implement like the private money banking model, the infinite banking model.
Okay, and the other one, there was a 15-minute call with you. Can that be set up like because of me getting the Done With You program, right?
Yeah,
Yes?
yeah, of course.
Because I want to run something by you that can benefit you. So,
Okay.
um,
Yeah, yep, go ahead, use it.
okay, then can it be after this week or it has to be for this week?
No, 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 it could be after this week.
Okay, that way, because I have some other questions, and then if you answer them, I won't have to ask for them.
Okay, sounds good, Rudy.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. All right, and then we're gonna wrap it up with Mandy.
Okay, so based off of what somebody else was saying, I think it was Rudy said you don't have to, maybe it's somebody else, you don't have to utilize an LLC to operate the business. My mind went blank. I was like, so how would we operate the business? What would we use instead?
No, so when you set up the business trust, you can either have it non-operational or operational. So if you have it non-operational, it's acting as a holding company to where it's
Okay.
going to hold an LLC that is operational. So the LLC is the one that has the products and the services and is doing business out here in society, and it's just being held by the business trust. You can set up the business trust to where you want it to be operational, to where it is offering products and services out here in society. And it's kind of acting as an LLC or just a traditional business.
Okay, yes. Okay. And then, okay, so then I would have a business LLC that is operational. And then could I make the another business trust as the non-operational to be the holdings?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you. It all just clicked for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Awesome. Okay, great. So we are wrapping it up for today. So this is going to conclude day 2 of the Wealthy Trustee Workshop. So I do want to tell you, you guys have homework. So the homework yesterday, you should have gotten into the Telegram and the Facebook community and introduced yourself. And so today, what I want you guys to do is to start working on the asset inventory list. That's what we are going to be doing on Friday. And so you want to be able to take an inventory of your assets so you know which assets that you're going to place inside the trust and which assets that you are not. So start to begin to work on that. The next piece of homework is if you need to review any recordings from yesterday and today, because tomorrow we are going to go over the 508c1a nonprofit tax exempt trust. And so we're just building upon what we've been learning for the last 2 days. So if you need to review anything, go ahead and review. And then the last piece of homework is that you do have electronic books available for you inside of the course. So if you go inside of the online portal, inside of the Wealthy Trustee program, you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see ebooks there. So there are a bunch of resources and ebooks available for you guys so that you can begin to put all these pieces of the puzzle together. Okay, guys? So with that being said, I will see you tomorrow on Zoom. So tomorrow is already October. Can y'all believe it? I cannot believe it. Tomorrow's October. So I will see you October 1st at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you are going to receive an email 1 hour before the course, before the workshop, with your Zoom link and your resources and templates that you're going to need for the workshop. So without further ado, everyone have a blessed and highly favored rest of their Tuesday, and I'll see you tomorrow on Wednesday. Bye.